All right, good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. And it's not just any Friday, it is Friday the 13th. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. We have a very interesting show in store for you. E.A. Koetting tonight. We are going to be talking about practical spirituality and Black Magick. And in his young life, he has spent the last 15 years studying, practicing, and immersing himself in the spiritual arts, not restricted to any particular paradigm, but finding answers to the greatest questions in every faith and spiritual path, from the holy to the blasphemous, from the heights of the Vedas and teaching of the masters to the secret rituals of Black Magick. What is magic really? This whole, obviously we've had some misunderstandings here and negative connotations used for words, but magic simply is, and I'd like to read this definition by Murray Hope. She says, magic is concerned with the conversion of universal energies into practical frequencies that can be utilized according to the needs of the occasion. These energies in themselves are totally neutral, having no affiliation with any belief, system, or personality, either here on Earth or anywhere in the cosmos, their manifestation at the magical level being colored entirely by the nature and intention of the user. So we're going to talk about many different things tonight. He has a background in Satanism after he grew up in the LDS Church, also spent time in the demonic church of the Meridian Order, the Order of the Nine Angles. He is now an initiated Haitian high priest, and lots of stuff to talk about. So I just, want to warn you, if you are sensitive about spirituality or religion and topics like this offend you, right now is the time to bow out. There's a little red X up at the top right of your computer, but hopefully you will all join us with open hearts and open minds. E.A. has authored 6 books already. He is working on his 7th, and of course is teaching seminars, workshops, and of course working in the application of secret practices in the lives of others. So essentially a spiritual counselor, divination expert, spiritual healer, and occult mentor. So excited to have him here tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call tonight at 402-237-2525. And if you'd like to join us on the chat, that's over at truthbrigade.com. But we will be right back after this short break. E.A. Koetting on Truth Brigade Radio. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us here this lovely Friday night at Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at TruthBrigade.com. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 402-237-2525. And I do just want to preface this with mutual respect for each other and each other's beliefs. I know that sparks kind of fly when topics of religion or spirituality come out, and misunderstandings, and you know what it is blatant ignorance. And I'll tell right here, I'll be the first to say it. I am ignorant of a lot, and that, of course, is why we're here, to learn in a fun and nurturing environment. So I don't want to play cop in the text chat, and anyways, I'm going to trust that we are all going to get along wonderfully tonight. This is our special guest, first time here tonight, is E.A. Koetting, EternalAscentPublications.com. Practical spirituality and Black Magick is the topic tonight. So happy to have you here tonight, E.A. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Christie. Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Well, EA, you have such an interesting background, and just, I guess we can start off. If you would tell us a little bit about your path. You grew up in Utah, member of the Mormon Church.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I kind of had a shaky early childhood, but I did end up in Utah, being raised in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that was just like any kid that grows up in America. You kind of grow up with that, and it's it's interesting. You like it at the time, but there was always this vein of mystery and magic that was in my life. But when I was 8 years old, I was coming up with incantations that I could repeat to try to get magical things to happen around me, and
wow.
try to meditate.
How did you come up with that at 8 years old?
Well, that's always kind of been a mystery. No, I didn't.
It was just natural.
Yeah, my family was really pretty strict with a lot of things, so we didn't watch movies. I didn't watch TV, so I didn't really have the media to draw these kinds of influences into myself. It was just kind of something that I felt intuitively that I could do, and like when I was I think 10. I was sitting trying to levitate some of my toys by meditation, and
wow.
just kind of weird stuff like that you don't see 10-year-olds doing.
Yeah, I'm just assuming you didn't learn that in the Mormon Church, so it must have been something within your soul. It just kind of felt natural.
Well, yeah, and I actually later found out, like I said, there was some shifty things in my early childhood, where I was separated from my birth parents, and I've just found out maybe a year or two ago, from my birth mother that there's an ancestral line of witchcraft in my family. Where her mom was a witch and her mother before her, and it's been a hereditary thing, and somehow that transferred to me, because with all of my environmental influences, I just started pulling this magical element into my life out of nowhere.
Amazing. Do me a favor, though, EA, before you continue. You said witchcraft, and many different people have their different definitions of what that is. So can you elaborate? What is witchcraft?
Oh, boy, that really depends on what paradigm you're coming from and what vantage you're looking at this from. Because
according to EA, how about that?
Well, according to me, witchcraft would be the use of rituals or prayers, incantations to cause an effect in the physical world through non-physical means. So that leaves it really, really broad. When I say that my family was into witchcraft, they were into what you call traditional witchcraft, kind of a European slant, where they're mixing concoctions and lighting candles and whatnot to get into that spiritual state.
Okay,
yeah.
Herbs, essential oils, ceremony, or intent. I mean, isn't magic really all about intent?
Yeah, a lot of it is intent, and then also, part of where I come from, and part of where my whole system differs a lot from people today who are writing about the occult and teaching the occult arts, is that I recognize that the spiritual powers and the entities that you call on actually exist. They're not portions of your brain that you're tapping into. They're not just sections of some part of our psyche, but that they're actual external entities and energies that you can call on to have an effect on yourself and your environment.
Absolutely. When was your first experience with one of these entities?
Well, my first real conscious experience would be when I was 12 years old, and I was playing. Well, I was actually watching my stepbrother and my brothers and sisters playing on a Ouija board, and I refused to. That was scary, whatever. And the planchette kept pointing towards me. It wouldn't go to the letters. It wouldn't go to yes or no. The planchette just kept pointing to me until everybody kind of jostled me into putting my hands on it, and then immediately it started moving faster than I'd ever seen anything like this happen. Planchette moved over and started spelling out words, and I I was really fascinated by this because first it was a complete contradiction to everything I had learned in Christianity. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to consort with these spirits, and so it kind of got that heretical kind of adolescent chemistry going in me.
Anything people don't understand, it must be evil, right? Yeah.
But yeah, so it also fulfilled something in me where my entire life, like I said, when I was 10, I was trying to levitate things, and I was working on incantations when I was 8. I've always spent my time as a kid, and my mind was always focused on having a really verifiable experience in the occult. And this one experience with the Ouija board, even though it's really kind of hokey when I think about it now, it really brought me into the awareness of, hey, there's something out there, and I can actually tap into it. There are methods that exist to speak to these spirits. What was really interesting about that, though, is that shortly after that, I could start feeling the entity that I'd spoken to on this Ouija board around me, sensing it really strongly when it would come and go, sensing where it was at. And I moved from Utah to Washington State to go live with my father, and was surprised one day when I felt that exact same presence, just like somebody walking into a room, felt that same presence come into my bedroom, and thought, oh my God, this thing has followed me across the country. And looking at that from a spiritual vantage, that's really not a feat at all. There's no time and space in the spiritual realm. But to my 12-year-old mind, that blew me away. But it was
they didn't have to worry about gas money and things like that.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, let me ask you, you were experimenting with the Ouija board and such as a child. Did you have to hide this from your family and your church?
Well, I hit it a lot because the Ouija board really, that experience was really just a catalyst where I really started wondering about the possibilities that I could awaken through these sciences. And so I started studying medieval witchcraft and demonology, and at the same time, not only was I a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but I was a youth leader, so in our quorum of young men, I was the leader. I was the messenger to the bishop. I was preparing the sacrament every week. I was your model Mormon boy. And then whenever I could, I'd sneak away and read the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Demonology, and I kind of had this little double life going on where I was really interested in the verifiable, because religion never really presented anything that was verifiable to me, and the occult did. At least it started to kind of tease me with that. So for several years before I actually even started practicing anything, a good deal of the study I would do and everything was done completely, in secret and definitely being hidden from everybody.
Okay, wow. And so when did that come to a head?
To a head where I actually began to practice?
Well, I mean, I guess there was probably a point in time where your double life kind of merged and maybe you were kind of outed amongst the traditional church you were a member of?
Well, I actually left the Mormon church. My father stayed extremely devoted in the church, and he and my mother divorced, and so I moved back with her, and she was basically became atheist. Didn't want to have anything to do with religion, so she kind of had the mentality of do whatever you want, I don't care, it's just silly, stuff, whatever, and that really let me just start tapping into it without that fear of being outed necessarily. And so, I spent from 15 years old to the present, really getting deeply into the occult, and at a few points, diving as deep into the left-hand path and the sinister path as possible.
Okay. Now how old were you when the spirit followed you?
I was 12.
Wow. And did you tell anyone about it, or how did you handle that?
I didn't tell anybody about it, but I remember because I moved from good old Mormontown, Utah, to a town just outside. It was just outside of Port Angeles, Washington, and I was playing with this Ouija board still. I'd go making a Ouija board and play with it with friends and kind of giggle about it. But back in my mind, I really knew, this is something that we're tapping into. This is, not just a game and not just something that we're doing for fun. I was taking it very, very seriously. And I happened upon a conversation with a girl just standing at the bus stop. She mentioned something about witchcraft.